All right, now once we have installed an irrigation system, especially a turf irrigation system, we have to look at adjusting it and getting it to work correctly. The items that we'll be using for today's project include an assortment of nozzles, and then the tool for the appropriate nozzle, and then finally there is a collar. You could find these tools at a local dealership that specializes in irrigation equipment or at some place like Lowe's or Home Depot. For example, this particular head is a Weathermatic turbo head, and this is the tool that one would use with that, and it's specific to that type of head, so you have to know that. What happens is this end here is used for lifting it out of the body, and you can see what it looks like when it's pulled up like that, and then you can drop it back down again, or there is this little collar, and that works for some of these as well, not for all of them, but for this one it does work quite nicely. That collar can be placed in here, and the neat thing about it is it holds this in the open position so you can work with it. These nozzles are numbered from 1, in this case, to 13. 13 is a very large nozzle, but the nozzles, the smaller the number, the smaller the nozzle, and for the most part what happens is that the numbers are pretty closely aligned to the number of gallons per minute that come out of the nozzle. So a small nozzle, like 1, will let about 1 gallon per minute come out. And another one, maybe a 5, would be about 5 gallons per minute, and a 13 would be 13 gallons per minute, for example. What we typically try to do is use a larger nozzle on a head that is set to go like 360 degrees or 270, and a smaller nozzle for those that are set to go only about 45 degrees. So we want the precipitation rates to match. So in order to match the precipitation rates, we would have to go, for example, a number 1 on a 90 degree, a number 2 on a 180 degree, a number 3 on a 270 degree, and a number 4 on a 360 degree nozzle. Okay, so let's say that I take one of these nozzles, choosing the appropriate size for the condition, and I will be placing it into the head. Now it has to be pushed in so that these tabs are at the top, or these wings are at the top like that, and then it gets pushed in just as far as you can, and it probably, I've got it just about as far as it can go, but I just want to make sure, because if it's not in all the way, then it's hard to get that screw to go down and it's not going to stay in properly. Okay, so I've got it down, it's at an angle. It isn't just straight across, it's at an angle so that the water will squirt upward. Okay, now I take this tool, so I turn this, it's engaging that screw and putting it down into the nozzle, in toward the nozzle. And if you look at it, you may be able to see the screw is actually down here and it's holding that nozzle in and keeping it from coming out. That same screw can go down a little further and it can block some of the water and spread it out a little bit, but normally we want it to be just above where that hole is for the nozzle. So then I can take that out, and then the nozzle is set and ready to go. Okay, so then I'll take this out. I'm Peter Gallagher with State by State Gardening.